Trying to find the right in-home care for someone you love? Wow, it can feel like a really overwhelming journey, can't it? It's super emotional, but it's also a practical thing. So today, we're going to break it all down for you, step by step. Let's just dive right in. So, has there been a recent crisis? For so many families, this is where it all starts. It's that sudden phone call about a fall, an unexpected trip to the hospital, or a moment of real confusion. You know, this question just gets right to the heart of it. It's often that tipping point, that one moment where you think, okay, something's got to change. But here's the thing, the signs, they're not always that dramatic.
All right, so here's our game plan to give you a clear path forward. First up, we're going to talk about recognizing the signs that help is needed. Then we'll get into what in-home care actually is. After that, I'm going to give you a fantastic vetting toolkit, basically all the essential questions you need to ask. And we'll wrap up by talking about how to find not just any provider, but the right match for your family.
Okay, let's jump into our first section, recognizing the signs. You know, just admitting that a loved one might need help, that can be the absolute hardest part of this whole thing. But really looking at these signs, trying to be objective about it, is such a critical first step.
So let's talk about memory and medication. Are they getting more forgetful? And look, I'm not just talking about misplacing their keys every once in a while. I mean, take a peek at their pill box. Are there pills left over when there shouldn't be? Or maybe they're running out of their prescription way too soon. These are those really subtle but absolutely critical signs that something's off with their medication routine.
Okay, now what about physical signs? Have there been any recent falls, even small ones, that you might have just brushed off at the time? Or have you noticed they're having a tough time getting up from a chair? Or maybe they just seem a little unsteady on their feet when they walk. Mobility and balance, they are so important for staying safe at home, and any little slip in those areas is a real red flag.
And finally, just think about their day-to-day life. Are they pulling back from social stuff they used to love? Is the house looking a little neglected? Or maybe their clothes aren't being changed every day. Here's the bottom line. If you answered yes to even one of these questions, it's probably time to start looking into your in-home care options.
So that leads us perfectly into section 2. What is in-home care anyway? It's kind of a broad term, right? So let's break down what it covers. It usually falls into 2 main categories. First up, you've got what we can call togetherness tasks. And this is all about companionship and just helping out. It's having someone there for a nice chat or to cook a meal with them, not just for them, which is a huge difference. This also covers things like light housekeeping, driving to appointments, running errands, and something that's so important, respite care. That's what gives you, the family, a really vital and much-needed break. Then, the second category is all about daily routines. This is the more hands-on personal care. We're talking about dignified help with things like bathing and grooming, assistance with toileting and incontinence care, and help with meals or special diets. Of course, it also includes those super important medication reminders and even specialized support for things like dementia. It's all about making sure they can maintain their health, their safety, and their dignity right there at home. All right, which brings us to section 3, your vetting toolkit. So you know what you need, but how in the world do you find a provider that's high quality and trustworthy? Well, it all comes down to asking the right questions, and we have boiled them down to the absolute essentials to put you right in the driver's seat. Now check this out. It's amazing how much a simple checklist like this can tell you. For example, ask them, are your caregivers actual employees covered by workers' comp, or are they just independent contractors? That is a huge deal for your family's own liability. Are they bonded and insured in case of theft? A truly professional agency is going to have a quick, confident yes to all of these. If they hesitate or say no, that's your cue to dig a little deeper. See, this isn't just about care. It's about safety, accountability, and professionalism. But it goes beyond just the logistics, right? You've got to ask about the quality and the personal side of the care. So how exactly do you match a caregiver to my loved one's personality and their needs? How are you going to keep us, the family, in the loop? Do your caregivers get ongoing training, especially for something complex like dementia? And here's a big one. Will a supervisor actually come to the house every so often to make sure things are going well? These questions, they really get to the heart of whether an agency is truly dedicated to quality. And that leads us right into our final section, finding the right match. Because really, at the end of the day, this is about so much more than just ticking off boxes on a checklist. It's about finding a partner in care who truly gets how important human connection is.
You know, some agencies have a philosophy that it really stands out, and one of these is called interactive caregiving. This idea perfectly shows the difference between just basic care and truly exceptional care. So instead of a caregiver just making lunch for your mom, an interactive caregiver might ask her to help wash the vegetables. It's about turning these everyday tasks into moments of engagement and connection. It gives your loved one back a sense of purpose, a sense of control.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this one philosophy. Is their goal just to get through a list of tasks, or is it to build a real, meaningful, supportive relationship? Finding an agency that sees care as a relationship, that's how you know your loved one's mental and emotional health will be just as important as their physical needs.
And the impact of finding that right match, it's just profound. I mean, this note from a family member named Paul, it really says it all. He wrote, "We were at the end of our rope and didn't know who to turn to. You were a godsend." That's the feeling. That's the relief and the gratitude that comes when you finally find a true partner in this, right when you need them the most.
So we'll leave you with this question to really think about. What does peace of mind look like for your family? Is it just knowing your parent is safe? Or that they're eating good meals? Or is it knowing they have a friend to talk to and share stories with? Figuring out what that looks like for you, well, that's the final, most important step in finding the perfect care for the person you love.